This is a question from the user Marxist Media. Why do you feel the need to link communism with pedophilia, dude? Even if you are somehow pro-pedophilia, ever heard of priorities or optics? Yeah, I'm aware, but I completely disagree with any sort of theoretical position that places high priority on these issues. I'm a hard determinist, an ultra-hard determinist, and I think that this reading is borne out by Marx. Um, I refer to the Holy Family, and I'll link this down below, and you should read it. When socialist writers ascribe this world historic role to the proletariat, it is not at all as critical criticism pretends to believe, because they regard the proletarians as gods. What this means in full is that we understand that the proletarians are humans with biologically and sociologically rooted deterministic conditions. They are not moral saviors of anything, they are people. Rather the contrary, since in the fully formed proletariat, the abstraction of all humanity, even of the semblance of humanity, is practically complete, since the conditions of life of the proletariat sum up all the conditions of life of society today in their most inhuman form, since man has lost himself in the proletariat, yet at the same time has not only gained theoretical consciousness of that loss, but through urgent, no longer removable, no longer disguisable, absolutely imperative need, the practical expression of necessity is driven directly to revolt against this inhumanity. It follows that the proletariat can and must emancipate itself, but it cannot emancipate itself without abolishing the conditions of its own life. It cannot abolish the conditions of its own life without abolishing all the inhuman conditions of life of society today, which are summed up in its own situation. Not in vain does it go through the stern but sealing school of labor. It is not a question of what this or that proletarian, or even the whole proletariat at the moment, regards as its aims. It is a question of what the proletariat is, and what in accordance with this being it will historically be compelled to do. Its aim in historical action is visibly and irrevocably foreshadowed in its own life situation, as well as in the whole organization of bourgeois society today. Essentially what this means is that optics don't really matter. That it's not a matter of recruiting proletarians into the Communist Party that then propagates the word, and then they go out and they set forth, once they've been convinced, and make revolution. They are driven to it by need, and by need do they abolish all the conditions of life today. And this includes all those elements that limit individuality and autonomy to children and to minors. When the state gets abolished, the whole thing goes. It's a total omnium bellum contra omnium. It is a war of all against all, at least initially. It's not going to be this organized, petty bourgeois, comfortable, middle class, box checking thing. It's going to be a massive push. There's going to be chaos, and then it will organize, but it will organize against the whole system as a totality.